When someone close to you loses a loved one, what's better to say than "I'm sorry"? Hundreds of people came to my grandpa's visitation. The "I'm sorry" and "he was a great guy" all ran together after a few hours. Two comments stuck out to me when it was over. Both were from people who told a specific story about him, some way he had touched their lives previously unbeknownst to me. I realized the two women who did this had recently lost family members of their own, so I figured they knew from experience what would be most helpful to say. Now when I go to a visitation, I try to come up with a favorite memory of the deceased to share with their loved ones. Bonus points if it's a new story, something the mourners wouldn't have known about. When coming to terms with a death, it's heartening to realize you can still learn new things about the person you've lost. That last sentence is so perfect. I lost my mom earlier this year, and the comments I remember from the funeral are from strangers who told me a small story about how much she meant to them. Even now, all I want is for people to tell me things about her that I can't know otherwise. We were best friends and I knew everything I could possibly from our relationship. I love hearing about her outside of her kids. It's almost like having her back for just a few minutes. Some people hate this, and it's understandable, but the most comforting thing I was told after losing my dad was, "It's just going to suck for a while." After tolerating mountains of "I'm so sorry, I know how you feel, God is watching over him now, blah babbity blah etc., I thought I was going to snap all over again. A dear friend held me close and told me, "It's just going to suck for a while. Life will suck for a while, but it's going to pass, come back, pass, and come back again over and over. It'll never stop entirely hurting." I cried harder than I had since he was diagnosed, but they were tears of relief and release. Her words still comfort me almost 3 years later, but I know for a fact not everyone would appreciate it. I suppose those words are just good if you know your loved one has a disdain for repetitive pleasantries and religious explanations. The best thing is to listen instead of trying to think of the perfect words to make it better. My best friend lost her dad a few years back. I just said, "I'm not going to say anything because it will sound stupid and pointless," and just sat with her. She agreed and thanked me because people were saying the typical things and it was really starting to irk her. Told her my phone was on and she could call me any time. Sadly, at 31, I have lost my mother in 2008, my 2-year-old daughter in 2016, and my sister in 2018. If you're talking about at funerals, family gatherings, etc., it doesn't matter too much. It's just a long, blurry, dreamlike state for a lot of people. They also know that you probably don't know what to say. They don't either. Don't be afraid to bring up good times. It hurts, but it's also healing. Don't say they're in a better place. You'll meet again. They're always with you. That shit gets old fast. I get why people say it, but nobody is ready for that shit at funerals. All they want is that person back. Save that for another day. Just say it from the heart. More often than not, at the very least, you'll get an E for effort. I'm a big believer in feeding the grieving. Losing someone, especially suddenly, is a huge shock to most people, and they find it hard to eat. There's not much to say that will make it better, but acts of service, such as giving them food, cleaning their apartment if they're too depressed, or even just taking their car to refill the gas tank, can help a lot when someone's in that frame of mind. However, I will note this. When I miscarried, a nurse came into the room and said, "I know that nothing I can say will make this better, but I'd like to give you a hug." I have lost many people in my life, and that was the best response to my grief I have ever experienced. The son of a family friend was shot and killed at a party just before Christmas many years ago. I told her that I knew damn well that there was no way I could understand what she was going through, so I wouldn't try to offer advice, but I would be there to help with things she needed to get done. Over the following couple days, I drove her around town, such as to and from the police station, and to make her arrangements for his body. She later told me that that meant more to her than anything anyone else had said to her. She was sick of hearing "I'm so sorry" or platitudes about what a great guy he was, and said that me treating her semi-normally, I wouldn't crack lame jokes to lighten the mood like I normally would, and just being there to help without all the bullshit condolences was what helped her.